Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is late. It is 4:15 a.m. and I just woke up. Well, I've actually woken up like every hour on the hour. When I tell you that I feel like I've been through like a spiritual experience with my dreams tonight, let me just tell you. I had the most bizarre dreams tonight. I've been like really thinking a lot about my dreams. You know, when I was growing up, my mom had me keep like a dream journal. She like bought me this dream journal and stuff. I can't remember how old I was, but it was something that I did. We must have had some kind of conversation about it or something like that, because like I must have brought it up because she ended up buying me like this dream journal, you know. And I can remember like off and on all through like high school, I would like, not just in that journal, but like in a lot of different journals, like I would write my dreams like as soon as I woke up, you know. And if you do that, it's interesting because the more you think about your dreams when you wake up, or the more that you write them down, like the longer that you remember them and can kind of think about what they mean and things like that. But it's weird, like my dreams tonight were so bizarre. It was like, I mean, they were and they weren't. Like, they made a lot of sense. I guess that's what was kind of bizarre about them, you know? Like, every time I would wake up and then fall back asleep, it was like I kind of fell back into, like, not exactly where I had fallen, you know, like gotten up, but it was like more of the same dream, if that makes sense. I was in some kind of school, but like, I think, okay, so I finished watching The Good Place last night. I think it like really messed with my head or something. It really made me think a lot about, was it last night that I finished it or the night before? It was the night before. It made me really start thinking a lot about, like, I mean, I already think so much about, you know, my, like, our purpose here, my purpose here, what happens when we die and things like that. It was almost like my dream was like after I died or something. I don't know. It was just bizarre. And these like tests that I was going through. The last part of it, it was like me and like some girl. And like in my dream, I knew her. Like we were friends with each other. But I don't know who it was. And we were at this pool, and it was like this pool kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the woods, like somebody's like house pool, you know, like behind their house, but I couldn't see the house. And the pool had like all of these cracks in it. And I was like, so we had this guy, and he was like, okay, we're gonna like fill the pool today, and we're gonna like, you know, like correct the cracks and make them right. And there was like this beautiful river that like ran directly underneath, like literally underneath the pool. So like the pool was kind of like on this cliff, and then underneath it was like, it was in this wooded area. And then it was beautiful. Everything was beautiful about it. It was like I just kept on looking up at the trees and thinking like, it's really pretty out here. And it reminded me of like when I grew up, like Indiana in the summers, where it was just like hot and just like thick humidity, and like the trees were so full that like you really couldn't even walk that far because you couldn't see like in the woods. And it was just beautiful. And this guy was like, well, I think he was a figment of like, I believe that dreams have a lot to do with like your subconscious and also like things from that day, because when I was going through Starbucks today, I did this review, and there was this guy in front of me, and I kept on joking that he looked like Jason Momoa, but like in my dream, like the guy that was like my instructor, he like, I don't know how I knew he was my instructor, I just knew that he was. He like looked like this guy that I had seen today, but anyway, like he had real long hair, and it was kind of curly and stuff, and actually, I just remembered, he was like this guy that I went to high school with, whose name was Scott. Like, I don't know how I just remembered that. That is so weird that I just remembered that. Anyway, like in the dream, it was this guy, like, that I went to high school with. But he was like, we're gonna patch up these cracks in the pool, and then we're gonna fill the pool. And it was just like everything that like I heard was like so beautiful, like every sound, every bird. And he was like, he had this hose in the pool, and even the water just like filling up the pool was like this like crisp, like clear water that was just like beautiful, you know. And I like did this thing where like, you know, like the pool was like dry, like in the shallow end, and it was just like he had just started filling it with water. And I did this thing where, like, I jumped down into the pool, and, like, every crack that I touched with my foot, like, I had these, like, sneakers on, and every crack that I touched with my foot, like, zapped up and, like, completely, like, cleared up right away. And he just looked at me like, how did you do that? And then I can remember, like, I was leaning over looking at this creek, and he was like, he said somebody's name, and it was like two people that like in the dream I knew, you know, like Judy and John Smith or something, but like, I mean, they didn't mean anything to me in like real life. He was like, they go in there, like, they do something about like, they, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? You know when you get in the little boat, why can't I think of what the thing is called? Anyway, you know, the boat that fits like two people, why can't I think of what that's called? Anyway, he's like, they go down there and like this little competition thing like every fall. He's like, but I can tell you that water right now is like ice cold. Like, I didn't believe him, and so I kept on like dipping my foot into it, and it like, it felt like it was like literally like liquid gold. I can remember thinking that. I went swimming tonight. I'm wondering if that's what this is about. I went swimming tonight, and the pool was kind of cold, and it was like, I could tell it was like the end of summer. I bet that has a lot to do with this dream. I don't know why that just occurred to me. It probably has a lot to do with that. Because even like the pool, now that I'm thinking about it, in the dream was very similar to the pool like in our neighborhood. And there I wanted, that's weird. But before that, like, in another part of my dream, I had to take this huge test, and it was like this, like test of like everything that I knew, and it was going to be like 10 questions, but I had to like, but I could only, like, it was only 10 questions, but they could ask me, and it was based on everything that I knew. And we were like in all of these different classes, and I kept on seeing people that like I had gone to high school with, and people that like I had gone to, you know, like I'd worked with, and people that I knew when I was a little kid, and family friends. And there were all these different like buildings on this campus, but they weren't like school buildings like you would think. They were like houses and churches, and like the last place I went, this woman was taking me to where my test was going to be. And I went into this office, and it was like all these like beautiful carpets on the floor, and there was two women, and each, like, one was at a desk on one side facing one wall, the other one was at a desk facing the other side, and there was all this like beautiful artwork like everywhere. And they said something about being the keepers, and I was like, the keepers of what? And they're like, just, the woman was like, the keepers. And she was like, but you better get to your test or you'll be late. And So the woman that was like taking me wherever I was supposed to go, she was like, do you know where you're going? And I was like, yeah. And then like, I was like worried I was gonna be late to this class. And I was like in a school all of a sudden, and it was like, there was like a lunchroom that was like on the basement floor, like this huge lunchroom. And you know, like the banisters that go down like in a school, like the metal banisters. I was like walking on the metal banisters, like the metal banisters to like make it faster downstairs. And people were looking at me and they were like, how do you know how to do that? I was like, I don't know. Like, how do you not know how to do that? It was just all this really weird stuff in these dreams. And the other thing that was weird was that Alex and I got into bed. So he sat downstairs with me while I watched the last 2 episodes of Big Brother, and he played Township. Well, it's so funny because he doesn't watch it, you know, Big Brother. But he was like playing Township like this, and he was watching Big Brother like out of the corner of his eye, and he would ask me questions. So we sat there because I got, he had Chipotle late for dinner, like he had to work late tonight, so he got Chipotle at like 5. So he wasn't hungry. When I went to the pool, when I got done, because I went to the pool like right before he came home. And so then I ran and I was hungry, and so I wanted something to eat that was like quick, so I went to Burger King. So I ate Burger King. Oh my gosh. Well, he was, while we watched Big Brother, well, somebody had commented, tweeted me, they're like, I hope you have your DVR set for Big Brother so you can give us like an after show rundown. And I was like, oh my god, I never even watched Big Brother from yesterday, which is weird because like last night, was it last night that like I ended up listening to, when I got done vlogging, I ended up listening to my audiobook for a while, and then I went home and I literally, you guys, I could not fall asleep. And I was like, I want to watch something. God, this construction is driving me nuts. Do you see this hair over here? Like, I'm a hot mess express tonight. But anyway, I was like, I want to watch something. I don't know what I want to watch. And so I ended up watching an episode of Grace and Frankie because I'm just trying to get it done. And I didn't even think like, oh, I have an episode of Big Brother. I didn't even think about it. Which is so crazy. So I watched both of those episodes tonight, and Alex sat there with me while I watched those. And I was telling Alex, I was like, I'm really like over the show. He's like, no, you're not. You love this show. I go, well, I'm over the fact that like the people that I don't like aren't winning the show. Like it always seems like that's the case. Like I think that's why I ended up stopping watching it the last season. Whatever season I stopped watching it. It just was like 5 weeks in, it was like, there was an alliance like the first week made, and then like 5 weeks in, it was like, and I didn't like that alliance. It was like, because I always go for the underdog, it was like 5 weeks in, and it was like they had won like every, you know, POV, every HOH, every POV, and I just was over it. I just was like, this is boring, you know, this isn't even a competition. So, I was kind of telling him that, and then we lay down. So I don't know what time that would have been. 10:30, 11. And then he was playing Township, and I set my alarm for 12:40. I feel like maybe it was a little bit later than that, but I know I set it for 12:40 because I saw it when I got up. Oh, Joella's Chicken. They want me to try this. They're so nice. They constantly reach out to me based on my reviews. I've never been to that Joella's Chicken. I always go to the drive-thru one. But they're wanting me to review this thing where you can try every one of their heat levels. It's called like a heat pack or something. I was like, sure, I'll try it. Somebody asked me the other night, they're like, do you go the same direction every time in your vlog? No, I mix it up, or I would get bored. The last couple times, I've gone the same direction. But tonight, I went a different way. I cut through Broad Ripple. And then I'm gonna go down through College and then back up into like Fisher's area or Noble. So what is going on here? Is the electricity out or something? Tomorrow night, we're gonna have dinner with, like, Sarah's gonna come over and we're gonna have dinner on the patio, like we did that one night. That was so much fun. And she kind of suggested it, I guess. She was like, do you guys want to do dinner on the patio? And then, what is that? That's gonna be cute, like big loft apartments. Oh, how fun is that? And then we're gonna watch some kind of movie. Alex found a movie and he was like, would you want to watch this? Just came out in July. I can't remember what it's called. He sent me the trailer. He was like, would you want to watch this tomorrow night? I feel like I haven't watched a movie in forever. Whenever I watch a movie, I then want to watch like 3 more. I'm gonna pull it in here and I'll tell you what the movie is called. It's with the guy, why can't I think of what his name is? I'm having a hard time remembering anything tonight. Right, it's with Russell Crowe. And it's called, it's like Triggered or something like that. It's called Unhinged. And it's about this guy, and like he's gone through something, you can tell. It looks like he's holding a wedding band in his hand, and so it makes it look like his wife left him or his wife died or something like that, and he's having like a really bad day. And so this woman, like this mom and her son is in the back seat, and I can't tell if there's another child back there or not. But anyway, she's like behind him in traffic. They're like in traffic in LA or something. And he like won't go fast enough, and she honks at, she like lays on her horn. And so it's like this thriller, and he ends up like following her around and like killing all these people and stuff. Like he's basically unhinged at that point because he's trying to like teach her a lesson. It looks really, really good. So we're gonna watch that tomorrow night. And then what else? That Saturday, Alex works in the morning, and then in the afternoon they're going to Chicago to see their friends from college. I cannot believe that my battery died so quick over it. Okay. What was I saying? So yeah, Alex and Sarah will be gone all day. Saturday, so I can like sleep in, I can do like really whatever I want to do that day, which is really kind of nice. I mean, not that I can't do what I want to do any other day, you know, but like I try to kind of have everything done by the time that Alex comes home, you know, and so I just won't be rushed. Plus I think it's supposed to like rain on Saturday. It's like, I was looking at the weather, it's like 40% chance of rain or something like that, so I was really hoping it would be nice this weekend, and I could just like, that would be actually like a perfect day for it to be really nice, because then I could go to the pool during the day, and then like knowing that like, you know, I don't have to like, because like, you know, I don't like to have to film stuff when like Alex is there. I mean, he's very courteous of it. He'll go upstairs, you know, and whatever, but like, I feel bad having him sit upstairs while I'm filming stuff, you know. So, that would be like a perfect day, because I could go to the pool and then I could come back and I could film a couple videos and then, you know, take a nap and eat some dinner, and by then they'd probably be home. this is what happens to me every night that I vlog. I get up and vlog. Is then I like totally have my second wind and I can't go back to sleep. Whenever somebody new starts watching the vlog, they're always like, so I'm so confused. You just get up in the middle of the night, you drive around and you vlog. And I'm like, yep, that's pretty much it. Like, I'm such a night owl anyway. Like, now, tonight, I probably would have just, like, if I didn't vlog, I probably would have just slept all straight through the night because I was so tired. But some nights, I wake up in the middle, I mean, I've always been like this. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, you know? You know, and I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, why don't you just vlog at like 10 o'clock then, and then you can just go to bed right afterwards. So if I'm really tired at like 10 or 11, it's like I really have a hard time like pulling it together. I mean, I have done that before, but like I have a really hard time pulling it together to like get into a car and be like, and like having a conversation, you know what I mean? Which is really a monologue, you know? And then other people, you know, like, well, Alex will be like, why don't you just vlog throughout the day, babe, you know? Which I will say that when I vlog throughout the day, I really do enjoy it. The problem is that every single moment then that I'm like in my car, or that I would be talking to the phone, or I would be listening to an audiobook, or listening to some music, you know, just kind of genuinely relaxing, like I have the camera rolling. So I don't really, like throughout the day when I'm vlogging, I don't really get to, and I don't enjoy vlogging as much because, you know what I mean, it's like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and I don't get to kind of like rest throughout the day because I'm like running here, running there, and then I'm like have the camera on. But because, you know, like I like to drive around and talk to my friends or listen to music. I'm a big like lately I've been listening to a lot of music in my car, and I also really like just driving in silence and just kind of thinking to myself about stuff. I find a lot of peace in just like driving around and just in total silence with the windows down. Like that's very spiritual for me. So anyway, woke up today and my leg was feeling better, but my hand is now hurting again from keeping it in the fist. I have to get that thing. Like it really hurts. And then tonight, Alex and I were in the bed and we were like talking and stuff, and I was like, Boo Radley was on my pillow and I was kind of like laying on the side, and I went to like push myself up, and I pushed myself like on all my weight, but I had like my hand like that, and it like rolled in, and it's right here that it hurts. And I was like, oh my God. And my leg obviously isn't back to normal. My shin and my, you know, it still hurts, and my, like the nerve in the back, in my back. I talked to my dad tonight for a long time, and he and my stepmom watched one of my vlogs. He texted me, he's like, your stepmom and I watched one of your vlogs on on the TV in the bedroom. He was like, we watched you on the big screen. I was like, oh my God. He watched the one with my test results. So, he was like, you're definitely your mother's son. He goes, you like to talk. He was like, it was enjoyable to watch. My dad talks a lot too, which is so funny. But so anyway, after that I called him and we were just talking about stuff. Okay, can I just tell you what my dad did? My dad took all of these, like, you know, those like 8mm films, you know, like that we had when we were like in the 70s and stuff. And it's like me riding a bike, and then he has one with me, and it's like my grandma, the one that went to prison, my mom's mom. And he said he has all of these like 8mm movies of me, like when I was growing up, and he sent them in somewhere to have them put onto like a disc that I could have to watch. And this is so cool to me. I said, okay, so is there footage of Mom on there? And he was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, you guys have no idea how much that means to me, because I was literally just thinking about this too, that like the only like footage that I have of my mom, I think I was just talking about this on here, is from the wedding tape of Caroline's, right? Like I don't have anything else. I don't have any voice message deals. I don't have anything, you know, where I can listen to her talk or anything. So the fact that my dad kept this is like, or has these, and he sent them in for me is like a really, really cool thing. I'm so excited to see them. But we talked about all kinds of stuff today on the phone. And at the end, I was talking to him about like my medical stuff, and I was like, what do you think I should do like next? Like, you know, they've recommended like physical therapy, and I really wanted him to look at my my MRI results, but they're not like, I haven't gotten my copy of it yet. Before like I moved on, and my dad was like, I think, because the physical therapist that they referred me to like called to set up the appointment, and I guess my stepmom went to the same physical therapist, not like the same person, but the same like, you know, physical therapy group or whatever that is. And he was like, I think you should just start it. He was like, I think it'll help a lot. And he was like, you know, physical therapy is really underrated. And he was like, it really helped my stepmom had like a knee injury. And he was like, I really think that it'll help you. It really helped her a lot, like within just a couple weeks. And he was like, I think you should at least start that. And he was like, and then we can follow up. And if you know, like we can, you know, because I was like, well, Alex wants me to go to his doctor for his back. And he was like, yeah, I don't think it really, I was like, and then you recommended somebody. And he was like, I think you just go to somebody that you feel comfortable with, you know, whoever that is. And then he's helping me get a new internist and family doctor, so that he has somebody that he thinks I would really like. Because I just need to get on the health train, you know, and start really taking care of my health. And I need to do something about my weight, which isn't about going to a family physician. That doesn't have anything to do with going to a family physician, but I feel like, you know, I'm going to be 50 in a year and a half. Well, 2 years. And I want to make sure, I want to start getting like regular blood work, regular testing done. I want to be like health, like preventative, so that I know what's going on with my body. I know I say this on here and people are probably rolling their eyes, so tired of hearing it, but like I really do want to get my weight into check, and I really do want to get more athletic. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, you know, like if I'm going to be here till I'm 60 or if I'm going to be here till I'm 80, like my dad's going to be 80 next week, you know, or 100. But like, if I don't take care of my health, I don't like going to doctors. I never have liked going to doctors. You know, I think like that's kind of like the curse of being in a doctor's family a lot. Like every time I say that, there's that one person that's like, well, I'm not that way. But like, I think a lot of doctors' kids are like that. Like, they grew up just asking their parents for advice. And my dad's always encouraged me to go to somebody. I mean, he's never been like, oh, don't go to another doctor. He's always encouraged me and referred me to people, you know? But I've always just like never wanted to. I had this friend of mine, so, I have my friend that passed away from breast cancer last November. So she was part of this group of women, and they had all met in kind of like this unique way and become friends. And I knew several of them, and the ones that I knew introduced me to the other ones. And they all there was like 5 or 6 of them, and they became very close friends. And it was like this very like spiritual sisterhood kind of thing. But also like where they were like best friends. Like it wasn't just like this spiritual, you know, like they would get together and they would have like breakfast, like I think it was like every other like week or something like that, and they would like have some like I don't know, they would like talk about some spiritual lesson they were learning or something like that. But then they would travel together and they went out to dinner together and they knew each other's husbands. And so it wasn't just that either. I mean, they were great friends with each other too, right? But this one woman that was friends with her, like, I was talking to her right after she turned 60. And I was asking her about her husband and stuff, and I said, oh, did he get you something really nice for your 60th birthday, or did you guys do something really exciting? And she said, well, I feel like what I did was really exciting, but other people probably wouldn't think it's exciting. Now, you have to remember, this is a person who had found out, I mean, at that point, this was probably 2 years before my friend passed away, who was her best friend. And she said, you know, yeah, I treated myself to something, but I don't think that other people would think it was that exciting. And I said, well, what did you treat yourself to? And she said, I had my primary care physician run literally like every preventative test out there. And I had like, you know, heart scans done and cancer test, you know, like shit, everything, all this stuff done. And I was like, at first I kind of didn't understand it. I was like, I don't get it. And she was like, I want to make sure that I am on top of my health. And then going forward, I'm going to live the healthiest life possible. I'm going to exercise on a daily basis. And I'm going to eat healthy foods. And I'm going to live the best life that I possibly can. And I can remember being so inspired by that. I was like, that is the coolest attitude. Look at me 3 years later, okay? I'm the fattest I've ever been, right? So it obviously didn't take effect. But I thought, like, what a cool concept that is, you know? And I think also the highest homage to pay to a friend is learning lessons based on what they've gone through in their life. I really do. Like, you know, it was so frustrating to me when I got sober and, like, friends of mine kept on using and, like, really screwing up their lives, or, you know, like, it was so hard to sit there and watch that, because I'm like, why can't you understand, like, what I went through and learn from it? But people have to learn from their own mistakes, right? But I thought that was so cool that my friend did that. And I mean, I've always thought, like, that is, I don't know why I felt like I needed to wait till I was 60 to do that. You know what I mean? I can do that now. And so I was telling Alex today, I said, you know, maybe this back thing was a blessing in disguise, really. You know, like, if this is going to get me into, you know, going back to a primary care physician on a regular basis and getting, like, you know, annual checkups and, you know, blood work and stuff done and making sure that I'm as healthy as I possibly can be, then maybe it's not a bad thing that it happened, you know? And then, you know, hopefully I can lose the weight and start getting active. And I mean, like, that's another thing is, it's really frustrating right now. And it's not like, I mean, okay, listen, I'm not deceiving myself, okay, trust. But it's, oh, I turned around this way and now I'm stuck behind this trash. Yeah, I don't know if I can get through here. Yeah, I can't. What is he doing? He's like going through the trash. What is he doing? He was like digging through the trash can. That was weird. I'm going now before. Please don't back up and kill me. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, like, you know, I like to sit on the front porch, or I'll, like, you know, be in the neighborhood or talking to my neighbor or whatever, and it's like people are running by, or people are walking, or people are biking, and I'm like, I could be so active right now, you know, like, I could be on my roller skates, or I could be walking. I mean, let's be for real, right? It's not like I did a whole lot of that before I hurt my back, okay? I'm not, like, gonna be a hypocrite about that, I'm not. So it's not like my back is keeping me from getting into shape, you know? But I will say that there are, like, times that, like, I totally use it as an excuse, that I'll be like, well, my back is hurt today and I just want to relax. And I mean, I just want to eat. Like, that's such addiction, isn't it? Such food addiction. Like, I just want to eat something good. Because the reality is, if I was eating healthier, I'd be healing faster, probably, right? If I was, I mean, that's a good sign. I need to do that. I just love to eat so damn much. I do. Today I woke up and Tanya had texted me that it was kind of cool today when I woke up. It was like upper 70s. It said it was like 80, but it was like wavering between that and upper 70s. It felt kind of chilly outside. Oh, by the way, I've been saying this the last couple nights and I've been like vlogging longer. This is not going to be a long vlog tonight. So, just FYI. I didn't think this second battery that I put in was full. I just grabbed it off the counter. So I was like, if it starts flashing, I'll probably have to get off here because that's the only other one I have. But anyway, what was I going to say? Shoot. I can't remember. I will say Farmer's Fridge wants to send me my next order too. They saw my video and they really liked it, which was really nice. They were going to actually send it this week. And I think I'm going to have them send it the first week of September. That's because that's when Alex, like, we'll be back at work after our anniversary weekend. By the way, you guys, if you didn't know and you're like, I used to have candles with, what was I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something about eating healthy or whatever. I can't remember what I was gonna say. And then I like dove into that. It just doesn't matter. I just need to be getting healthy. Then I keep on saying that I'm putting it off, but it's whatever. I just like to eat, and I use that as an excuse to hide behind all this when I just need to be getting healthy. So, I don't know how long ago it was, about a year and a half ago. 2 years ago, maybe? 2.5 years ago? This woman from the Poorhouse Candle Company, it's like a self-owned business, sent me all these candles and candle waxes, and I absolutely fell in love with them. She has like the coolest scents ever, and she makes all of her like own tags and everything, and she has like really neat names for hers. Like she has, like, there's a lot of Harry Potter ones. There's like Harry Potter's cupboard and Mrs. Weasley's kitchen, and anyway, she's got really cute ones. And then she has like unicorn something. She's got tons and tons and tons, and they all smell so good. And so I loved them, and so I shouted them out like in a video because I loved them so much. Because I thought it was so nice that she sent them to me too. And she sent me a huge box of candles and candle waxes. Well, then she reached out to me. Oh, no. I think Alex was like, you should ask her if she'd be willing to do a candle with you. Because he was like, you know, you love candles and you love her candles, like you should ask her. And so I asked her, and she's like, oh, I think that would be a great idea. Let's do that. So we came up with a candle. And I can't remember what the first candle was. But I now have 4 candles over there. I have Peter's Drama Class. I have PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend, because that was the song that I used to sing, you know. If you don't remember, when Alex would go out of town for the weekend, like to a music festival or something, just for like a day or two, and it would be like me and the dogs, I would sing that song. I would sing PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend. It's PP and Peter's Bachelor Weekend. Don't worry about us, because we'll be just fine. Oh, I miss that little guy so much. But so I have that one. That one smells real fallish. And then I have Peter's Haunted House and Peter's Monster Bash. And and the last 2 are Halloween candles, and so they're fall scents as well. And we're actually working on our 5th candle together. And I'm really excited to announce the name of it. And she is like working on the scent right now, and then that one will be coming out soon. But if you're interested in buying the candles, I'm gonna put the affiliate link thing below, okay? And if you use my link, I do make a little money off of that sale. But you don't have to use my link. You can just go to the Poorhouse Candle Company and you can buy whatever you want. And yeah, I will say I love her candles. And like people in my video, when I talked about it, even commented, because I talked about it on my drama channel, even were like, oh my God, I love her candles, and I bought her candles. Like, and I just gave Sarah a couple of her, because I don't like real fruity smells. And Sarah does, and so I gave Sarah a couple of her candles because she just sent me some candles. Well, I think I gave her 2 candles, and I kept 2 candles. But you know I love the candle waxes too, and she has candle waxes. I swear by candle waxes. I love them so much. So I got up today. Did I even talk about this, what I did today? I immediately started telling the story that I didn't need to tell about today. So anyway, about a friend of mine, which I don't know if she would have thought that that was funny, or if she didn't think that that was funny, but, or she wouldn't have thought it was funny, but I don't need to tell that story. So anyway, sometimes I kind of forget that, like, I'm not just talking to Tanya Jean in the car, that I'm, like, actually talking to, like, a couple thousand people that like to watch this video, you know what I mean? This vlog. Okay, so I got up today. I got up today and I talked to a friend of mine on the phone. Next. Okay, and then Boo Radley got in so much trouble tonight. He, like, when I took them out, like, I'm like, okay, you guys, be good boys. I can actually, you know, like, walk in the yard now, but I'm, like, not trying to, like, run, you know? And he, like, took off tonight. If he sees somebody walking, okay, I don't know how to explain it. I showed it one day on here, but, like, behind our condo and, like, the condo next to us, there's, like, this huge yard, right? And then that yard goes into this other huge, like, yard off of Laura's condo to the right, and then there's the street. Well, if Boo Radley, because he can run super fast, you know, if he sees, like, somebody walking with a dog, he tears after him. Well, today, he, like, ran after this woman and her dog. Oh my Lord, she was not happy about it. I was like, Boo Radley, Boo Radley. He knew he was in trouble. He came back, he was like cowering and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not gonna hit you. I've never hit these dogs a day in their lives, ever. You don't hit dogs. Did you ever watch the movie My Dog Skip? If you haven't seen it, you should see it. When he hits Skip, and then Skip, like, goes missing, and he feels so bad. You don't ever hit a dog. What was I gonna say? So anyway, then Boo Radley came in. He was like, on the patio, he was looking at me. I was like, Boo Radley. And then he thinks I'm playing with him. The punishment they get is that they don't get treat. Well, Tucker got a treat. Boo Radley didn't get a treat. I don't even think he understood. It didn't matter. He'd do the same thing tomorrow. He's not very smart, but he is the sweetest dog. And so I texted Alex. Okay, this is so funny. So I was sitting on the back patio and I was watching my video back. This is hilarious. And I texted Alex. I wish I could pull over right now. There's nowhere to pull over to read you the text because I texted Alex and I said, Boo Radley just ran out into the street and this woman was walking her dog, and I told him, like, which woman it is, because there's only, like, you know, 10 neighbors that walk their dogs in our neighborhood, so he knew which one it was. And she's not very, like, she's not super nice, she's just not real friendly, right? And she's like, oh, like when Boo Radley was, like, running out. I mean, you guys have seen Boo Radley, okay? It's not like he's exactly an attack dog. And And I said she wasn't very happy about it or something like that. And Alex said, how did he say it? He was like, well, I hope you let Boo Radley know that he was not being a good boy. And I was sitting outside and I turned and I took a picture of Boo Radley because he was staring at me through the window, like through the sliding glass door, and I go, he's my sweet baby. It's just me and the dogs, like literally my whole life, you know that? It's just like at home. But you guys talk to your dogs. I literally talk to my dogs all day long. Although my neighbor, my poor neighbor, okay, so, you know, on the other side, we have this couple that moved in with us, and, did I say move in with us? I said move in with us. They moved into the house next door to us, and they're really, really nice, and I love them, and we've become really good friends. They just got this puppy, this Basset Hound puppy that he told me today, this Basset Hound puppy now weighs 41 pounds. But anyway, I have not seen her in like a week, okay? And he is always walking his dog. And so I said to him today, I was like getting out of my car and I was sitting there in the car. And it's like so funny because like if I get out of my car, he's like standing there. If I'm like on my back patio, he's like standing out in the backyard with his, always with his dog, right? I just think he told me today, I said, well, what are you watching on like Netflix or whatever? He's like, I'm so bored. I can't find anything to watch. I feel like he's like, because he was like, I think he works so much, you know, and he just recently retired, and I feel bad for him. Like, he walks his dog literally like 2 hours a day. Yet again, I started telling a story that I had no business telling, okay? But anyway, I was talking to him today. He's really super nice, and, like, I was talking to him about my grandma, and, like, Caroline and I have been, like, trying to find some stuff out. Well, I've really been trying to find a lot of stuff out. And so, like, he's done a lot of that. And so, with his own family, and he was like trying to like give me some suggestions of places to call and all that kind of stuff. He's just a super nice guy. And then he was like, we should sit down. He's very interesting. Like, we have a lot of the same interests. But what was I gonna say about all that? I don't even know what my point was in saying all that. It doesn't matter. Oh, I think, like, what I was going to say was I'm either just, like, at home talking to the dogs or I'm talking to my neighbors. I become that person that, like, stands out there and drinks, like, a Diet Coke and talks to my neighbors about, like, other neighbors and the most random stuff. Like, did you see, you know, Judy that lives 3 houses down? Oh, yeah. She got her this is what we were talking about tonight, that 3 of our neighbors got their driveways paved. And he said, well, they came to me to ask me if I wanted my driveway paved. And I was like, well, how much were they asking? Because they've never asked me. I said, maybe I'd want to get my driveway paved. And he goes, I think it depends. He was like, your driveway's a lot more narrow and ours is wider, but ours is shorter and yours is longer. And I was like, yeah, that is true. And I was like, I wonder how much they would have paid. You know, I said, I don't know that I really want my driveway paved either. And he's like, well, I know I don't. And I mean, we don't have a gravel driveway, but it's like, you know, that kind of like stone, you know what I'm talking about? That's like solid, but it's not paved. And I said, you know, and I started looking around and I said, God, there's almost every driveway in this neighborhood is paved except for ours. This was our conversation tonight. I think as you get older, you start having slower conversations about things that don't mean anything. Do you think it means your brain is just going to mush? I'm starting to wonder a little bit. But, or does it mean that it's just a slower, simpler time, you know? Like, I don't know what it is, you guys. Like, this summer, like, you know, my neighbor Laura, she's like out there every night looking at her tomato plants. I mean, every night she's out there looking at her tomato plants. And then she's got a book, you know, out there on her back patio, and she'll sit back there with a beer and a book and she'll read, you know. And after she's looked at her tomato plants, my other neighbors, you know, they sit outside and they have dinner and they play Scrabble. And, you know, like Alex and I will watch movies or whatever together. And, you know, we have dinner and stuff. Like, he and I have been using that patio a lot. And, you know, Alex spent, was it last weekend when he was doing like the front walk, spraying it with all the weed killer and stuff? And, must have been, yeah, because it was when I took all of my plants and then I dug them out of the trash and now they're on the front porch and I'm trying to, like, that's another thing, like, I'm trying to revive these plants, you know, or having all these plants inside our house or whatever, you know. It's like I came upstairs tonight and Alex had, like, because he knows I love a made bed. I mean, he likes a made bed now too, but, like, he had made the bed and he had laid out, like, Tucker's, like, comfort blankets and his stuffed animals, and I just thought that was so sweet, you know. I don't know, I like life slowing down a little bit. And I do think that, like, maybe more so because I grew up with seasons that were identifiable, like, that you could actually tell the difference between, like, summer and fall, you know, and fall and winter and all of that. It's like there was somebody that used to come on here a lot and they'd be like, summer isn't until, like, the 21st. And I'm like, summer is, like, when school gets out. Like, in Indiana, like, the summers don't go by, like, the dates that it you know what I mean? Like, that winter is the 21st in December. Winter is the first snow. Like, that's truly how we look at it in Indiana, you know? And spring is probably, like, the first warm day without snow, you know, like when it's 50 and you can actually wear a short sleeve shirt. And summer is when school gets out, and fall is when school goes back, you know, like that's how we look at things in the Midwest. And there's a slowness about it that I love, you know. I love the slowness about it. And it's almost kind of like in the fall because, you know, summer is 3 months, but, like, our winters have become shorter and shorter and shorter because we don't really have a lot of really horrible weather. And so, like, yeah, last year, I said, who was I talking to the other day? And they were like, oh, we had such a horrible winter last year. I was like, no, we didn't. Like, we hardly had any snow at all. I think we had, like, 1 or 2 snows. I mean, when I was growing up, it was from, like, the end of December through March. It was like there was always snow on the ground constantly, and it's just not like that anymore, you know? But, like, fall stretches forever. Because, like, fall really starts, like, well, really with the closing of the pools and things like that, and, you know, kids going back to school and all of that changing is, like, really when fall starts here in Indiana. And so if you think about that, well, that can be, like, the middle to the end of August or the 1st of September, October, November, December, you know, if we don't have our first snow until December. I mean, I really consider winter, like, around Christmas time, too, you know? But that would be the 21st, people would say. But we used to have some really cold weather in November. Well, I think actually, like, last year, I think one of our only really bad snows was in November. And then a couple years ago, when we had the ice storm was in November, that I was stuck on the interstate. God, I'll never forget that. That was when that was 4 years ago. Yeah, that was 4 years ago, you guys. That's so weird. Because it was my first full year on YouTube. That's so crazy. I had gone to a meeting, and it was my Sunday night meeting, and so the meeting, it was a candlelight meeting. It started at 9:30, and it ended at 10:30, and thank God I had a full tank of gas and all that, you know, which, speaking of, I'm low on gas, I need to get gas, but, so I got to the meeting, and right when I got to the meeting, it was kind of like sprinkling, like a little bit kind of like drizzly, but it wasn't super cold or anything. That was, like, what was weird about it. I think the temperature had something to do with it. The temperature, like, dropped, like, in an hour, like 10 degrees or something weird. Something weird happened. But anyway, we got out of the meeting an hour later. Like, when I walked into the meeting, it was literally, like, it was hardly even wet on the ground. And I walked out an hour later, and it was, like, literally as soon as, like, we walked in the parking lot, it was almost like, like, I mean, we couldn't even walk out. And this was a meeting where there was only ever, like, 5 to 10 people. It was, like, a real small group of us. I loved this meeting. And, I mean, it still exists, but it's a completely different group of people now, and my sponsor at the time isn't sponsoring me now, and people always ask me, like, I don't know why they think that this is, like, such a weird thing, that they're like, have you sponsored, like, men in recovery? I'm in recovery, like, that's a part of recovery. Like, I feel like that's kind of a silly question that people ask me that. But anyway, my sponsor at the time is not my sponsor today, and he doesn't go to that meeting anymore, and he was a big part of why I went to that meeting. And I had changed all my meetings, and I was going to Candlelights at the time. So anyway, I got out of that meeting, and I mean, like, I can remember, I was like, okay, you can either take the interstate home, and you'll be home in, like, because the interstate was like 25 minutes. If I would have driven it through downtown, it would have been like 45 minutes. And on ice, a lot longer, and I didn't know how long it was going to take me, right? Because I was like on the south, I was like downtown, but like on the east side of downtown. So I was like, I just wanted to be home. I just wanted to be home and safe and in my home, right? And, so I got on the interstate. I was like, I'm just going to get on the interstate. It can't be that bad. And I can remember I was going really, really slow. And I got on the interstate, and there was literally like nobody out on the road. And I got on the interstate, and the way that the interstate was that I would come up like this and go around, and then I would come on the interstate. And as soon as I came up and I like passed like the exit to get off that exit, I look up and there's like, because it was like over this kind of like hill ridge thing, and it was gridlock traffic for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. I was like, oh my God. And this is at 10:30 at night on a Sunday night. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, what is going on? And I didn't really panic at first, but like, so I, pull into like behind all these other people, and I sat there for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then like people are literally just turning off their cars, but like it was so cold that you'd have to like turn it off and start it and turn it off and start it. And people would like get out of their car to go talk to somebody else, and as soon as literally as soon as they would get out of their car, they'd fall on their face. I mean, it was bad. It was like really, really slick and bad. So I sat there. I mean, it was ridiculous, you guys. I don't even know how many hours I sat there. I can remember thinking, God, I wish I had gone through downtown, but it would have been just as bad too. But I sat there for hours. Like, I didn't get home until early the next morning. And, I talked to Alex on the phone. I feel like I didn't have a phone charger or something, and I was worried about my phone dying. I can't remember, or I didn't have a phone charger that worked or something like that. It was something to do with my phone. I was worried it was going to die. And I would like turn off my car and I would start it again to keep it warm. I did have enough. I remember I was so thankful that I did have enough gas in my car, but God, that was such a crazy night. Such a crazy night. And then getting into our neighborhood, like the gate, so the back way, to get into the back way, I couldn't get up this little small hill. Like, I kept on going up, and it would like, I would just like, my car would roll back, and the gate wouldn't open. So I couldn't get in the back. And then to go around the front, like, you had to go up this huge hill to go up this one street, or I had to go all the way around. So I finally had to go all the way around, but then it was this casual grade that goes down into our neighborhood. And I called Alex at that point, and I was like, I woke him up. It was like 5 something, I think. And I was like, babe, I don't know how to get into the neighborhood. And he goes, just park your car and get it tomorrow. And I go, because like at this point I had like he was still thinking he had to get up and go to work, which I think he ended up, I don't know if he did or not. I can't remember what happened, but I had like kept him on the phone so much. He was so sweet. He like stayed up for me and stuff, because I was like struggling. Well, he fell asleep, but like he, got up when I came home and stuff. But I was like, babe, I don't know how to like get into the neighborhood. Like, I was like kind of like panicked about that, which I know sounds kind of silly, but I was like, I don't know how to like get into the neighborhood. Like, I'm gonna have to like I was afraid that like my car would catch speed, and then like I would just like go into like, because we have like this guardhouse, you know, in our neighborhood, and I was afraid that I was gonna like go into this guardhouse thing or something. And he was like, just park your car in the neighborhood and just walk in. Because I'm literally at that point, I'm like 10 houses away, right? And he's like, and I'm like, well, I don't want to leave my car out here. And he was like, babe, because I mean, it's like park your car in front of a house that nobody knows who you are, right? And he's like, babe, nobody's gonna care, you know what I mean? Just whatever, it is what it is. You can come get it tomorrow. I was like, I'm getting in this neighborhood. So I crapped down there. Well, oh, this was the really scary thing. I know I've told this story a lot before on here, but when we were on the interstate and you could start going again, some people, like, they went crazy. Like, they went like that, and then you would come up literally a half a mile down the road and you'd see them pulled over like they had gotten in a horrible accident. Like, there were so many accidents on the road. Cars were trying to get off on the exits that went up. Okay, you know the exits that go up, and they would go up, and then they'd start sliding back, and they'd slide into like the side, like, you know, where the grass is and stuff. And then cars that were going down would just go straight, like, you know, like curb and stuff. They would like go into the ditch. So you couldn't get off any of the exits. So on the way home, I was like, which exit do I get off? Like, this one goes around, this one goes up, this one goes down. I ended up getting off, I can remember, I think I got off at the Keystone exit, because I was like, okay, that probably, like, I really thought it out in my head, and I was like, that probably has the slowest grade of getting off, and I'll just go like I literally on the interstate, I was going like 5-10 miles an hour. Like, literally on the interstate, I was going probably 5 to 10, somewhere in there. I was like, this is not worth it for me to get in an accident. Which is, again, why it took me so long to get home. That's a scary night. That's like one of those nights where you're like with a ton of people, but you feel very alone, you know? I think it's also when you realize in humanity, like, that people are kind of like out for themselves to a certain extent. I'm like trying to see. Okay, it's on half. It's gonna start flashing here soon, because it's like I can see it's on half. It just like I saw it, something happen, and it was like, this hasn't been the world's shortest vlog, has it? I don't think. You know, but that's where you can kind of tell, you can kind of tell that people are out for themselves a lot of times, you know, like, there wasn't a lot of, like, let's help each other out, or you go ahead of me, or, you know, I'll make sure that you're okay. I mean, there was literally, like, can I get in? Can I get it? Can I go ahead? Can I get in? Can I do this? Can I cut over four lanes so I can go up and cause an accident for all of you to wait? You know, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. And, instead of people working together, which I think is kind of a scary sentiment to me about the society that we live in. Like, you know, I think, you know, we see that every day. It's like we live in this world where, like, that's why I like the simplicity and the small town world of neighbors and things like that. Like, I miss that, you know, of, like, that world that I grew up in. You know, sure, there was danger and scariness when I was growing up, right? But I don't think that it was, like, so obviously on your doorstep where it is now, like, where you don't even know who you can trust, and everybody's just, every man and woman's kind of out for themselves, you know what I mean? It's just like, why do we have that mentality today when we can obviously get a lot further by helping one another? I don't know, it just makes me really sad. Dunkin' Donuts is open, and I want to listen to my audiobook for a little bit, and you know what sounds so good is a cup of coffee and a donut. I know that you guys are probably like, are you serious? Yeah, I'm dead serious. I know, after I was just talking about getting healthy, but that does so good. It sounds so good. I actually have to review some of their drinks because they have their fall drinks out already, but I'm not gonna do that this morning. So anyway, I am going to end this video now, and I'm gonna get off here, and I guess I could do a review. Do I look pretty? I mean, you think I'm pretty, don't you? My hair looks such a train wreck, but it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now, so I'm going to do a really fast outro. If you liked this vlog, please give it a big thumbs up. You like this video, please give a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Today, the color is yellow. That was the color on Drag Showdown that I just watched, so that's the color for today. Leave any kind of yellow emoji in the comment section below if you've made it this far, or just leave a comment. I love your comments too. And make sure that you're still subscribed to my channel if you have already subscribed, and if you haven't, then think about subscribing, please. And I hope you guys have an amazing Friday to your weekend. Thank God it's Friday. Unless you have other plans, but like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Try some new food that you think would be good. Try something new at Dunkin' Donuts. And also do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. And what else do I say? So many things. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and every single night. You tell yourself, I love you, and at least, well, every night before you go to bed and every day when you get up. I mean, not just all day long. Don't just stand in front of the mirror all day long and be like, I love you, I love you. I mean, that's kind of weird, don't you think? And you won't get a lot done either, you know. I mean, I think self-love is good, but that's kind of weirdly. But at least once, or more if you want, every morning when you get up and every night before you go to bed, every night before you go to bed. Oh, I'm losing it. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation, like you are valuable. And every night before you go to bed, say this about the next day, and every day when you get up in the morning, say, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry if I want to or need to. I'm going to feel all of my emotions. I'm going to live my most authentic, genuine, real self-life today. Self-life. I'm going to be too much. I'm going to stay weird. I'm going to pursue all of my creative endeavors and everything that I love to do, no matter what that is, from crocheting to cooking, from reading to writing, to whatever it is, from latch hook to what's something that could be that would rhyme with latch hook. From latch hook to being shook? No, I don't know. Anyway, whatever you love to do, dancing, singing, whatever, you know, writing poetry, do all that kind of stuff. Do all the things that I'm going to do all the things that I love today, and I'm going to hang out with friends and family if I can, or if I want to, and if I don't, or I can't, then I'm going to spend some time alone and enjoy that time. And I'm going to have great food today, and I'm going to have great opportunities come my way all day today. I'm going to have positive experiences all day long today. And if my day gets off track and I start getting a little negative or a lot negative, well, I can start my day over. Well, I can start my day over whenever I want. Just like that. And let's see what else. What else? Oh, and then most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Just text them or call them and say, hey, I was just wanting you to know I was thinking of you. And it's just really not that deep, you guys. You don't have to like pledge your undying love to somebody. You can just say, hey, how are you? And it means so much for people just to be seen in this world, you know? It really does. So just pick one person every day. That's 7 people a week. It's not a whole lot of people. You can rotate them through, and just the next week do the same 7 people, you know? And you'll be making people feel, I don't know, like it was funny because I did it during like the time that we were on lockdown, and then like I had like a group of people, like a support network, and I kind of started stopping doing it. And then whenever I would talk to those people, they're like, you don't call me as much anymore, you know? Like my cousin Caroline always says that. And it's like, well, that's true. Like I guess I could get back to that, you know? So that will be my commitment this week, is I'm going to start picking one of these people a day to call and talk to, like I did while we were all in lockdown. Well, my good Judy Valerie and I talked for a while today, so. But I mean, I talked to Valerie a lot, so I love you, Valerie! I love you, Ballerini! And also, like I always say, practice random acts of kindness. I couldn't remember. But like I also always say, don't tell anyone. But don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Just do it because you want to put some love and kindness and compassion and understanding and goodness out there in the world, you know? We want to make the world a better place, and we can do that by the random acts of kindness that we put out there. Just one. That's all it takes. Do you see the star in the background? Do you think it's a UFO? I wish. Anyway, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. And see, now I'm totally wide awake. So thank you. And I will see you tomorrow. I like looking at the clock. I'm like, and I'm wide awake. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye. Love ya!